Good evening, dear devotees and friends. This Wednesday evening we'll be reading and discussing about Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna's the unique idea that is recorded in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. We call it Panchama Veda. Now today's topic will be the Nitya and the Lila. That Nitya and the Lila belong to the same reality. Sri Ramakrishna will be reading from there. Before that, as usual, let us chant from this mantra. Tabo kathamritam tapta jivanam kobi viriritam kalmashapaham sravana mangalam srimadatatam bhubi grinanti e Bhurida Janaha. Now friends, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna was discussing with some of the devotees, and he was mainly addressing to Mahimacharan. And there in the Mahimacharan he said, to Mahimacharan he said, in the light of Vedantic reasoning, the world is illusory. This is from the point of view of the Vedanta, and Sri Ramakrishna, that's the reason Swami Vivekananda composed a beautiful the hymn about Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Advaya Tatta Samahita Chittam Projjala Bhakti Patabrita Brittam Karma Kalevara Adbhuta Cheshtam. So these three, they are wonderfully blended in him. He was the Karma Yogi, he was the Bhakta, and he was also a man of knowledge. So this is that has come in his life so naturally, normally. And when he is talking to the Mahimacharan, he knew the scriptures, he was a scholar. And Sri Ramakrishna never read, but he realized. That's why his words are so simple and to the point. In the light of Vedantic reasoning, the world is illusory, unreal as a dream. The Supreme Soul is the witness of the three states of waking, dream, and deep sleep. The waking state is only as real as the dream. Now, on the basis of this only, the whole Vedanta philosophy, Advaita Vedanta philosophy. Friends, we will come to that. It will discuss a little about that. So, this is the philosophy. This is the through reasoning we have understood that this must be the truth and from where all these things are coming. Now he said, the waking state is only as real as the dream. So those who are not having the background of Vedanta will wonder, how is it? I am eating, sleeping and all these things, and in the dream what I am doing, and mostly we always think dream is nothing. Even if I see a tiger in the dream, it is nothing. And when I see a tiger in my real life, maybe in the open field, then what will happen to me is at the same. It is Vedantin say it is the same. Why? In the dream also we don't think the tiger is unreal. And in reality, a tiger is unreal. We always take it as a real. But in reality, it is not. That is the philosophy, all reasoning. Now, let us read and try to know how Sri Ramakrishna, through a story, he is trying to explain this. There was a farmer who lived in the countryside. He was a real Gyani. Gyani means a man who realized the truth through reasoning. He earned his living by farming. He was married, and after many years, a son was born to him, whom he named Haru. The parents loved the boy dearly. This was natural, since he was the one precious gem in the family. On account of his religious nature, the farmer was loved by the villagers. One day he was working in the field when a neighbor came and told him that Haru had had an attack of cholera. Like this COVID-19, one time cholera was so devastating, particularly in the eastern region of the world. The farmer at once returned home and arranged for treatment of the boy. But Haru died. The other members of the family were grief stricken. But the farmer acted as if nothing had happened. He consoled his family and told them that grieving was futile. Then he went back to his field. On returning home, he found his wife weeping even more bitterly. She said to him, "How heartless you are! You haven't shed one tear for the child." The farmer replied quietly, "Shall I tell you why I haven't wept? I had a very vivid dream last night. I dreamt I had become a king. I was the father of 8 sons and was very happy with them. Then I woke up. Now I am greatly perplexed. Should I weep for those 8 sons or for this one Haru?" Now, through the story, the Sri Ramakrishna bringing home the truth that everything is temporary. It's nothing real actually. But there is a difference. The waking stage, we accept that in a general way, almost all, we accept that is the real life. That is original. That is exactly where we like to be happy, comfortable, safe and all those. And the other two, in the dream stage or in the dreamless, we don't give much care to that. But if we analyze, we will find that these are the 3 steps. By analyzing only, the Vedantin, they don't accept anything. They will analyze, they will judge, they will afterwards they will come to a conclusion. Now we have a body and the mind that you all know, and we accept like that, body, mind, complex. And what about the Atman, the self? The neurologist will say this is because of the combination of these, that, so the life cell came. It is nothing like that. But the religion will say, no, that is important, your life is important. How your mind is functioning and how your body is functioning. Go to that, understand that. Sometimes mind is not functioning when I am in a dreamless sleep. It is true. When I am awake, my body and my mind in both combination, I am working. When I am dreaming, my body is not present, only my mind is working. And there I see almost the same thing, the feelings are the same. So this second stage. Third stage, every day, every time when you go to sleep, at least for a moment, we go to a stage where we don't dream even. It's called dreamless sleep. That is the portion, that part gives us the complete rest. So when the body is absent because I am sleeping, when the mind is absent because I am not dreaming, what remains? How after waking up I can say I was not dreaming? Who was there present to record this? So that is called Atman, the soul, the consciousness. Now this proves that beyond the body and mind there is consciousness. Sometimes we call it life. This consciousness, when it is there, that means there is a total consciousness. If I am having consciousness, you are having consciousness, there must be the total of these combined. So that is called Brahman by the Vedantin, the complete, the total. Now here we can just, as we are discussing, we can say, now the dream stage and as we are calling it the real stage, waking stage, are they not the same? Because all the time the mind is cogniting, mind is imagining, mind is thinking, and when that consciousness is absent, mind is also absent. Mind is nowhere, mind cannot help us. The importance should be given to that consciousness. So that is the way it goes. The farmer was a Jnani. Therefore, he realized that the waking state is as unreal as the dream state. Friends, these are, through the experience only we can understand. So when you look back, those who are grown up people, if we look back and we see that there were many, many things that we were thinking are so real when we were children. But now we don't think so. There are so many stories will be there in every individual's life. When we were children, we used to think that this is this, this is that. And when you grew up, through our experience, we understood, oh no, that was all funny thing. So it is not so. But again, those children, they are having the same thing. So when we experience something and say that my childhood days thinking is all unreal, the same way when I will realize the Brahman, I will be enlightened like Lord Buddha, I will say that this experience of my waking state is unreal. So up to this today, because this is a process, then more and more and more we realize, more we can understand everything is so unreal. Everything is so unreal. So that is the reason we always go for the morality. Why? There must be another life. Why? Because this consciousness which we are having within us is not going to die. No one can burn it. No one can cut it. Our body is going to die, but not that consciousness. And this consciousness will travel again. And it will go, and because all the desires are there, desires are subtle. The desires are there, and the actions that we have done physically, mentally, through our thoughts, or through words, good or bad, sometimes inspiring some people, sometimes hurting some people, all those actions will have the result too. Where it will go? Somebody, the person who has done it, has to suffer or to enjoy. So this goes in the karma phala, the result of the karmas, the actions, how it goes. That subtle consciousness, it travels and it takes another form, another body to satisfy the desires that it is there in a hidden form. It will take another body and manifest those again the life will begin. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire, in the Bhagavad Gita it says. So this is continuing. How to end? Because there will be a little joy, success, and then suffering. There will be humiliation. As the top man of the country, the powerful country, I was enjoying everything. Suddenly something happened, and the people are asking me to go away. Think of the person, the suffering, the humiliation. So that way also, if we notice how things are happening, the tremendous power, suddenly one time, a moment came, everything gone. So in the life also the same way, changing. We do not know what is going to happen, when, how. So this is the reason the people, they are thinking about the spiritual life. And the spiritual life, those who are analytical, they are called Gyanis. They follow the path of knowledge. And in the path of knowledge, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, and those who are traveling in the path of knowledge, they always consider and they try to impose, try to understand analytically that the waking stage and the dream stage are the same. Through the story, Sri Ramakrishna was explaining. But for my part, I accept everything. This is important. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, the farmer was a Jnani. Therefore, he realized that the waking state is as unreal as the dream state. There is only one eternal substance, and that is the Atman. As I was discussing about the Atman, so this is the Atman, the consciousness which is within us, which is beyond the mind also. Even mind cannot think about it. Mind cannot have any conception about the Atman. It is so vast and so powerful, and because it is consciousness. Again, this consciousness is nothing but the reflection of the real consciousness. We cannot deny the light of the moon. The light of the moon is enlightening the whole world. In the night, it is there. But it is not the real light. It is a reflection of the sun's light. But we don't understand, we don't know. Of course, through science we have come to know, but when we look at the moon and we see the light is coming from the moon. So moon's light is moon's light. So similarly, the consciousness which is reflecting on our intellect, we accept that our consciousness. So we call it Jivatma, the individual Atman. That consciousness, the supreme consciousness, is known as the Paramatma, Parama Supreme Atma, and Jivatma, individual consciousness. Now Sri Ramakrishna is telling those who are following the path of knowledge, like the farmer, they think in this way. As Sri Ramakrishna, he is telling, but for my part, I accept everything. Turiya, and also the three states of the waking, dream, and deep sleep. I accept all three states. Turiya, one word Sri Ramakrishna is using. Those who are the students of the Vedanta and listening, learning, you know this terminology. Turiya is beyond the third stage. The first is Jagrat, waking stage, Swapna, dream stage, then Susupti, dreamless, deep sleep state, and then called Turiya. This Turiya means, sometimes they say, fourth stage, Chaturtham. Sometimes they will mention Chaturtham. That means they are indicating the Turiya state. What is the Turiya state? that is the real Atman. It is not reflected Atman. It is not the conception of the Atman. That is the real Atman. The sum total of all souls. Now there are so many, like the moons that are there, they are not stars, but only getting the reflection of the sunlight, and they are luminous. So those are like the individual self, or we can say all the waves of the ocean, hundreds and thousands of waves, big and small, all getting the reflection of the sun and glittering. Different size, different the luminous, that is the reflections sometimes are so different, but they are all the reflection of the one sun, and we can call the sum total of all the reflections. Reflections are not true, they are reflections only. But even then the reflections are so real. So the Atman that is within me is not the real Atman, that is only the reflection, but even then it is so real. So we hold to that Jivatma, and then we go to the Paramatma, which is also known as the Turiya. The Turiya stage means the Chaturtham, the fourth stage. From there, Shushupti, then the dream stage, Swapna stage, then come Jagrat, waking stage. So stage by stage it comes. Sri Ramakrishna is telling, I accept everything. What does it mean? Then when I am waking stage, what is happening? I accept that also as the creation of the same Supreme Brahman. In the dream, what I am dreaming is also the same, the Supreme Brahman's creation. And when it is absent, when I am in a dreamless sleep, that is also the same. And when I go and meet that the Supreme, the source of all, that's also true. So this is the Sri Ramakrishna who is accepting the everything. And there the philosophers are fighting for hundreds and hundreds of years. And here only you will find in every religion there are fractions. In Hinduism there are so many gurus are there, so many philosophies. I will mention over here the main three paths, that is the Jnana, the Tantra and the Vaishnava. These three paths, and so many philosophers they have come. So this is the way it goes. Sri Ramakrishna is unique. He is accepting the whole. How? That you will say, I accept Turiya and also the three states of waking, dream and deep sleep. I accept all three states. I accept all Brahman and also Maya, the universe and its living being. If I accept less, I should not get the full weight. And full weight, to understand the whole thing, you have to accept this. This only Sri Ramakrishna can understand that. The totality. In the majority of the people, they will accept only one part and they will continue into that, then they will only understand that. And suppose in the university there someone goes and he studied the philosophy, he studied the chemistry, he studied the all other branches of knowledge, and then he become, I accept everything, I know everything. It is like that. The physics, chemistry, mathematics and the humanities and others, all so many varieties and knowledges are there. If one person can understand everything, that is like Sri Ramakrishna. He accepts everything, embraces everything. But for the other, they only take the chemistry, they never go for the physics or any other thing, only concentrate on chemistry, and on the chemistry they like to do the PhD, and then there's some knowledge about that, that also not comprehensive. So that is like us, the ordinary sadhakas who are trying to realize God somehow. So that small part is sufficient for us. Now when Sri Ramakrishna says, I accept everything, and he said, otherwise it will be the less weight, I am going to lose something. A devotee, the full weight, how is that? All started laughing. Because the full weight means as if they are going to purchase something. When we go, we purchase something and we say, the outer cover, suppose we don't take, we take only the inside the kernel, what about that? They will say, no, you have to take the whole thing. So like that it goes. So Sri Ramakrishna, Brahman is qualified by the universe and its living beings. Friends, these are the terminologies. Unless we understand these, it is very difficult to understand Sri Ramakrishna. It is a very deep philosophy that he is going to touch. Brahman is qualified. What does it mean by qualified? Brahman is pure and Brahman is qualified. Parama Brahma and Swaguna Brahma, or we can say Nirguna Brahma, without qualification and with qualification. The qualified means gunas. What are the gunas? Sattva, Raja, Tama. The Brahman is having that, but one time it is not manifested. So in an equilibrium state. Another time it is all in different forms. These qualities that creates. So Brahman is qualified by the universe. That means he has created the universe and its living beings. The same Brahman, he has created it. At the beginning, while following the method of not this, one has to eliminate the universe and its living beings. But as long as I consciousness remains, one cannot but feel that it is God himself who has become everything. He alone has become the 24 cosmic principles. He mentioned the 24 cosmic principles of the Shankar Yoga. Unless one is having some basic concept of the philosophies, the Shankar, they say the creation is the combination of all the 24 things. So by that way it goes. And here Sri Ramakrishna is telling, when a man speaks of the essential part of the bale fruit, again he is giving an example. He means its flesh only, and not the seeds and the shell. But if he wants to speak of the total weight of the fruit, bale fruit, it will not do for him to weigh only the flesh. It must accept the whole thing, the seeds, the shell and the flesh. Seeds and shell and flesh belong to one and the same fruit. How wonderfully he is explaining. Majority of the people, and even in the beginning of the Buddhism, the Jagat Dukkhamay, this world is full of misery. Why? It is temporary. But we attach to this. We think this is the permanent. We try to grab the properties, the money, the name, the fame, the family, physical comfort and appreciation from the society. We all try to do that, and one day suddenly everything is over. Again in the next life I go with the same desire, and then again the same thing goes on repeating. How many times? I will beat the bushes. How many times? The time will come, one will understand, oh, these are all useless. Then what to do? He goes to his guru, the preceptor, the master, sit at his feet, accept his words, and then withdraw his mind from the sense objects. That's all. What is spiritual life? Spiritual life is withdrawing the mind from the sense objects. Why? Because they are not true. So Sri Ramakrishna said, in the beginning, when we are beginning the journey in the spiritual life, my goal is the God, my goal is the Brahman, my goal is the knowledge of the Atman. So all those which are not that way Atman, I go on refuting. Not this, not this. In Sanskrit it says, neti, neti. It goes back. Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Then ultimately, after reaching over there, then he finds, oh, everything is nothing but the same. I was negating these, I was negating that. It was not necessary. It was the manifestation of the same Brahman in different form. That is called ultimate knowledge, the total knowledge. Among the Brahma Jnanis also, there are gradations are there. Brahmavid, Brahmavid Bariyan, Brahmavid Barishta, etc. Gradation. Why? Because of these. Swami Vivekananda, he called Sri Ramakrishna Avatara Barishtaya. He is the Barishta. He is the topmost. Why? Because of this knowledge. And sometimes Sri Ramakrishna, he said, sometimes my experiences has gone beyond the Vedas. Ekhankar Abhiggata Ved Vedanta Chadiye Gache. That means it goes beyond that. What is the Veda? Experiences, realizations of the rishis. And Sri Ramakrishna, the God himself, his realization, his experience, because he is the source. So he told the experience has gone beyond this. This is the beauty. This is the wonderful way that Sri Ramakrishna is explaining. Now he says a wonderful way, the Nitya and the Lila belong to the same reality. The Nitya and the Lila. Sometimes it is, give the example, like the ocean. The water of the ocean and the waves of the ocean, are they different? They are same. But waves are not ocean. If we count the waves and say that this is the only ocean, or this many waves we have counted, and that means that is the ocean. No. In depth there is so much of water, there is no movement in the water. And if you go to the deep sea, there is no wave at all. The still water. Can we say that this is not the sea? No. The same way, all this jagat that we see, the varieties that we see, the things that we see, that is the manifestation, of course. But that is not the Brahman. Brahman is something else. The ocean is ocean. The waves, they belong to ocean. Ocean doesn't belong to waves. So that is the way Sri Ramakrishna said, Nitya and Lila belong to the same reality. Therefore I accept everything, the relative as well as the absolute. That is the, now friends, I was thinking that here we can go to the philosophy, that those who are the students of philosophy, they know this. Sri Ramakrishna, just by mentioning these two words, Nitya and Lila, he referred to the root of all philosophies. I am giving the reference, I am from there, that a book long back published by the University of Calcutta, and it is an introduction to the Indian philosophies. That is a beautiful book, and there it says, Chatterjee and Datta, they wrote this book, this one, and it says, All philosophies, Eastern and Western, try to understand through reason the general nature of human nature and God. That is, every philosophy has to give the answer to three questions. Again and again I say that. The three questions, what are that? Who is the creator? What is this creation? And what is the relation between the creator and the creation? Here also it says, all philosophies try to understand human, that is the called jiva in Sanskrit, nature, that is the jagat, this universe, and the God, the srashta, the creator. The Western philosophy, they search through 5 ways, the 5 different patterns they have set up, and they try to understand the reality. The first is called metaphysics. What is metaphysics? The reality of human nature and God. Human nature and God. The reality. The human nature, all this medical sciences, they know the human, and then the psychology. What is the human psychology? There are so many researches are there. They try to take the help of those, at the same time try to understand why things are changing. Like same parents, 2 brothers, maybe they are twin brothers, and they were born almost at the same time, their physical appearance is almost same, and their schooling was same, but when they grow up, their nature completely 2 different way. Why? One who try to love others, understand others, help others, another he never do that. They're completely white and black. The 2 different nature there. The metaphysics, they try to understand there must be something. All the external things were the same. From the same parent, from the same schooling, same environment, same food, same way of growing up, then why the nature change? The metaphysics, then they will say there must be something in their past life that they have brought from there, and that is manifesting, and we call it samskara. Samskara, the impressions of the past birth. That's why the Hindus and the Buddhists mainly, we accept the karma phala. Otherwise, how to explain this? The metaphysics. To try to understand in depth the reality of a human and this manifestation, this nature, and the God. Then goes epistemology, the theory of knowledge. Now, when I am trying to understand, how I will understand? What is my process to understand? The theory of knowledge. It is not the science, they are having so many instruments, but the philosophy, it is only analytical mind. So they goes on, that's why the rishis in the old, so they used to go into the deep forest, whole day they will be there, analyzing his own mind and trying to analyze the nature, and by that way, slowly, when they could control all their emotions, all their attachments, all their sense organs, suddenly they discovered the truth. Those truths are recorded in the Veda. So that they say the Vedas are the Apaurushya. Veda means knowledge. Whatever is written over there, all the experiences, the knowledges, particularly the philosophical part, philosophical portion. So this is the way, so this is called epistemology, the process to understand how I will know that this is the truth. As we were discussing in the beginning, the 3 stages: waking, dream, brimless. And beyond that, there is another, Turiya, the fourth stage, consciousness. So I understand consciousness by this process, and this is called the epistemology. In the Western the philosophy, they apply this in a different way, but India, as a to conclude, they are comprehensive. Then comes the logic. They discuss the law of valid reasoning. I am thinking that this is the way. If I say this is like this, then another person will say, no, it cannot be, it may be like this, we can repeat in this way, we can represent in this way, you can understand in this way. So the logic should be there. So Uttara Paksha, then Purva Paksha, it goes that someone will ask the question and someone will answer, and this logic will go, then that is called the decision will be taken. So this is the way one goes, the metaphysics, epistemology, logic, then comes the ethics. This ethics, why there is morality. The morality is so important in the spiritual life. Other teachers in any other professions, if they are not moral, it is not so harmful. At least, say a good doctor, very good doctor, when he is in his chamber, when he is looking at the and treating the patients, he is so successful. But he is immoral type. That is not affecting his life there over when he is working as a doctor. But in the spirituality, if the guru is immoral, he tells the lies and he cheats people and he has the other desires, carnal desires, he cannot be considered as a spiritual man. Maybe he is having other knowledges, he is a very good speaker, he is very good looking, and he can attract the people, he can mesmerize the people, he can quote one after another scripture, it doesn't matter at all. Perhaps he has studied in a very famous University of the America, he is having the certificate and he writes at the end of his name that these things that I have completed to impress people. That means something wrong in him. The spirituality, it has no value, nothing at all. Only this is ethics, morality is so important to understand the real nature of human and God. Because the morality, if I have given the word, I must keep that. If I have promised, I must keep that. If I have taken the oath, the vow, the promises, I must keep that. That is called morality. Never deviate. Even the temptation is there in front, you will control. That is called morality. And without that morality, one cannot make any progress in the spiritual life. Then aesthetics. Aesthetic sense is the beauty sense. You will find that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna in the Gospel itself is telling that Hindus are making the form of gods and goddesses and worshipping. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, the idols that you are making, it should be beautiful. And the area where you are worshipping should be neat and clean and very nicely decorated. Without this aesthetic sense, your devotion will never come. Your concentration will never develop. So these aesthetics are there, the beauty, and at the same time the value. The value also nowadays, it has this term, the value, and they are also taking the help of the psychology. They try to understand the mind of the people. The psychologists, they try to do that. So these are the 5 ways the Western philosophy, they try to reach to the truth. First is the metaphysics, epistemology, logic, ethics, and aesthetics. But this Indian philosophy focuses only on truth or the sources, but there are also the valid knowledge, how to, all those things are there, but the main focus is to understand the truth completely on that. Now, Sri Ramakrishna mentioned Nitya and the Lila. That belongs to the same reality. What is that reality? That is the source. We can call it as God, we can call it as Buddha, we can call it as Jehovah, we can call it as Allah, and we can call it as Bhagavan or Brahman or Atman, whatever. That source, which is eternal, which no one has created, self-made, and it is without beginning and without end. It is the source of all, both knowledge and action. That has been termed as reality, sometimes the truth, sometimes as Satya. Now, this reality, the Vedantin, from that reality, the creation is coming. From the Vedantic point of view, first is this reality which they call as Parama Brahma, the Supreme Brahman. Second call, same Brahman, he is activating, he wants to become many. That's why in many places it is mentioned, Eka Aham Bahu Shyama Vihi. I am alone, I like to be many. Why he thought like that, that we cannot answer. The Swami Vivekananda in one place he said, Hindus are bold enough to say, we do not know. Why God will think or the Brahman will think, how we will know that? That this Brahman, he thought that I should. So that's called Pratham, the first, the Parama Brahma is known as the source of knowledge, the Jnana Shakti. That is Jnana Shakti, Ichcha Shakti, Kriya Shakti. These are used by the Tantras. The Supreme Brahman, when desiring to become many, then he changes, it changes. I should not say he, it starts changing what? The Sattva, Raja, Tama, three qualities. The three qualities start activating. The permutation and the combination of these three qualities, then it comes to next Swaguna Brahma. Parama Brahma, Parama means the supreme. Second call Swaguna Brahma, Brahman with qualities. That means the Sattva, Raja, Tama, these three qualities has become activated. Now it is getting on mixing. Sometimes the Sattva is more, Raja is little less, Tama is very less. That quality will form a great personality, Mahatma, a great personality. And Raja is more, Sattva is little less, and Tama is less. So that will be another. Then Tama is more, that will be the Asura, bad type of people. So these three things goes on. Then comes the Hiranyagarbha, the golden egg, from where everything start coming. So Parama Brahma, Saguna Brahma, and Hiranyagarbha. These are the Vedantin, they think in this way. The first is absolute, no creation, no movement, no thought. Then the moment the thought came, they start waving as if without any wind, the water, tranquil and no ripples over there. This is the Parama Brahma. Then suddenly the year of desire come. I like to be many. And then as if the wind started blowing on the water and the ripples started coming. And then from the ripples come the big waves and takes different forms, and the waves goes and hit different the shores and make those things separate like that, different forms. That is called Hiranyagarbha. All creation comes. Tantra, in the same way, I am explaining from the point of view of the Hinduism only. The Tantra, because Vedanta, Tantra and Vaishnavism, these are the three major paths leading to the same goal. Only they term the goal in a different words, that's all. The Brahman or the Shiva or the Vishnu, these are the three terms. The Tantra, it is Supreme Shiva. They call Parama Shiva. Parama, the Supreme. The Parama Shiva. Again, this Parama Shiva, completely inactive. There is no sign of any life in it. There is no desire. Then, as if like the Saguna Brahma, the Tantra says it is Sadashiva. The Sadashiva, as if he is thinking. The moment he started thinking, its eyes open and his body become white. The Sattva Guna, the Guna qualities start working. And from that, the third stage, where all the works begin, is called the Kali. The Kali, the goddess that we think, is the same Shiva. When active, it's called Kali. Here the Parama Shiva is the source of knowledge, the Jnana, knowledge, without any action. Then the same knowledge, when clubbed with the action, that's called desire, Ichcha Shakti. Ichcha means desire, Shakti means power, and that is called Sadashiva. And Sadashiva, like the Saguna Brahma. Parama Shiva, like the Parama Brahma, Supreme Brahman and Parama Shiva. And then called Saguna Brahma, is called Sadashiva. Then like Hiranyagarbha, it is Kali, from there the creation. Vaishnava, they say Parama Vishnu. The Vishnu, the Parama Vishnu, the Supreme Vishnu, the Vishnu mean all over, everywhere. The main book that the Vaishnavas they trace on, that is called Bhagavata. In the Bhagavata, from the first chapter to 9th chapter, there is no God in form. Conception is that, but it is Vishnu, the all-pervading consciousness, the source of knowledge, source of creation. All that Parama Vishnu is there. Then comes the Vishnu. Vishnu takes the form with the 4 hands and all the power that is manifesting in here. But that is also Nidra, Yoga Nidra. It is not doing anything. And then from the Vishnu, the third one comes and he creates, that is called Brahma. So this Brahma, the creation. So see that all the three, the Vedanta says Parama Brahma, Saguna Brahma and Hiranyagarbha. Tantra says Parama Shiva, Sadashiva and Kali, and the Vaishnava says Parama Vishnu, Vishnu and Brahma. Now this is the reality. But how the creation? The Vedanta trace on pure knowledge, which never changes, which has been mentioned by Sri Ramakrishna as the Nitya. The Nitya means eternal. A Lila means the creation. This eternal, the creation is illusory, unreal as a dream, as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling. This realization of the one gives liberation, mukti. Tantra is traced on the union of the Shiva and Kali, the knowledge and action. The creation, sustenance, dissolution, all depends on this union. Only Kali, the action, nothing can happen. Only Shiva, the knowledge, nothing can happen. So the Tantra, they believe that Shiva and Shakti should be together. Knowledge of these, Shiva and Shakti, this unity, that gives liberation. That is called Tantra. And Vaishnava strays on the Lord Vishnu only. The Parama Vishnu, the Vishnu, and the Vishnu is creating one person and giving whole knowledge to him, and also the idea how to create is Brahma. So Brahma may be the CEO, but Brahma is doing all this, but the main person is Vishnu who is controlling the whole thing. This faith and devotion to the Vishnu can take one near to him. Sayujya, Salukka, Saruppa, all these, they are not liberation, but going very close to God, having the qualities of God and all this. Now the creation, therefore, in the Indian philosophy, they say one Vivartavada, another is Parinamavada. Vivarta is apparent transformation. And that is the Vedantin, they always say. So, and as Sri Ramakrishna was mentioning, neti, neti, not this, not this. We always, in the beginning of the Vedanta, we have to say, no, not this, not this, not this. That is called Vivartavada. This world is not real, this world is not true, this all is going to change. So we should not put all our energy to grab this world. That will be a great mistake in human life. Human life is so precious. In human life we can think, we can analyze, we can judge, we can discriminate between the real and unreal, good and bad. That this human brain, human life, human mind, after achieving that, if we by mistake try to grab the position, the power, the wealth of this world, which itself is temporary, that is a useless thing. There's sometimes when you see, and when I was in Cherrapunji, you used to see that the fogs, the deep fogs, they take almost the form of the different forms, as if a bear is going or an elephant. If you go and try to hug it, hold it, nothing is there. Only little the experience of little water. That's all, the fog. So like that, when we are thinking this is the world, I must grab it, hold it, have it, that is a wastage. So the Vivartavada explain that. Parinamavada, they also say, yes, it is true, the God has created it, but it is not God. But if you love it as the creation of God, then that devotion and your one-pointed concentration on the Creator will take you to Him. So that is called Parinamavada. Advaita Vedanta, they support the Vivartavada, and Tantra Vaishnava, they support Parinamavada. Friends, I think we should stop over here today, but this is how we explain Sri Ramakrishna say, I accept everything. Nitya and Lila. And thank you. We will explain it in our next class.
The first question is from Kamal Chaudhary. He is asking, if all the three systems are fundamentally the same, then what was the need of creating different systems? Is it related to the three types of faiths as mentioned in the Gita, Sattva, Raja, Tamas?
Yeah, Sattva, Raja, Tamas are the qualities. But the faith that I was narrating, that is the Vedanta, Tantra and the Vaishnava, that is according to the different students, the different people, the aspirants, their temperament. So according to the temperament, that I like to see the Shiva and the Shakti, so they go to the Tantra. But the Ramakrishna mission is the unification of all these paths. You must have noticed that Swami Vivekananda gave the emblem. There it is all the paths together, and it is the Tantra, it is the Vedanta, and also the Vaishnavism. It is combined, all the same. The people they fight because the ego is not for the God, not for the philosophy, but I have accepted these. So you should also accept it, or let us fight. So that is the difference. Otherwise, nothing is there. The Swami Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda, all through their life, they try to give this knowledge. All paths are leading to the same goal. All philosophies are telling the same thing. So don't fight. If you like this, follow that only diligently and with all your attention, but don't criticize others. That samannaya, what is that samannaya? Not that you have to mix up. Only thing that whatever you think is best, you take that and move, and don't criticize others. That is that. Okay. So let us conclude over with this. Niranjanam nityam anantarupam bhaktanukampa dhrita vigraham vai Ishavataram parameshamidam tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa namamaha. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.